keto. I just start keto. It's a crock of shit. Um, that one's
I
been
plead the fifth.
it's been a huge fad right now. It drives me fucking nuts.
Yes, I'm doing 24 hours of interviews, 48 guests.
Oh, that's
total.
dope.
Yeah, it's crazy busy.
I bet it is, man. Are you like staying up for the whole thing?
Yep.
Man, hope you got some monsters on hand.
Yeah, no, I don't want to crash, so I'll be doing Rebel drinks instead.
I heard that.
So, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody and kind of let everybody know what you're about? And finish getting all these settings screwed up here.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Matt Hauer. Instagram tag is Matt Hauer Fitness. Obviously, I'm a fitness guy. So I'm a personal trainer, men's physique competitor. I've been competing for going on 7 years. I've been training for 7 years as well. That's kind of who I am, what I do.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what got you into the competition world?
So I backstory, when I was 20 years old, I was only 90 pounds. I'm 27 currently. So when I was super, super small, imagine a 20-year-old guy who's 90 pounds, super skinny in college.
I can't even imagine you at 90 pounds, man.
I know, right? Everyone's like, there's no way. So yeah, imagine the 90-pound kid in college. Girls just aren't looking at you. So that's honestly why I got into the gym. And a guy took me under his wing. This guy, he was a pro bodybuilder. And he took me under his wing and basically was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing a show? And I was like, I don't even know what the hell a show is. But he was prepping for one, so I was like, yeah, let's do it. So he gave me a diet, and I ended up doing my first bodybuilding show at the age of 21. I took 5th place out of 12 people, and kind of the rest was history.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we've met a couple times at there in Stowe.
Yep.
At Fitworks.
Yep. So yeah, I used to manage Fitworks. I actually moved on from that gym. I'm no longer doing that.
Where are you at now?
So I work for myself now, just doing online coaching. Then
Okay.
I also work for a company. It's a technology company doing outside sales.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you take the decision to go out on your own? I have a lot of friends who've gone away from working for fitness systems and doing their own thing.
Yeah. Gyms, they pay little and they demand a lot. So you're at the gym, being the general manager there. I was there 10, 12 hours every day, Monday through Friday.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So you just don't have a life. You're there at the gym, and then you're getting paid pennies to the dollar for the amount of time that you're there. And a lot of people need a lot from you, want a lot from you. It's very demanding. So it was good while the time lasted. I met a lot of good people, a lot of good clients, whatnot. But in order for me to kind of flourish into what I wanted my business to be and what I wanted to do, I had to take that time away from there and step away.
No, it's understandable. Now, you still doing competitions or?
Yeah, still doing competitions. So I competed in June of this year. Last I was in Chicago Junior Nationals, and then I also did the North Coast previous. And right now I'm looking at probably doing Junior Nationals in June as well. But I have no set date. I have just kind of been enjoying the off-season life, and I'll start prep probably mid to late February.
No, starting prep. What does that mean?
So when you start prep, so when I say prep, like competition prep. So in the competition world, there's an off-season and on-season. So an on-season is what you consider prep. So you're preparing your body to step on stage, because when you step on stage, you have to be below usually 5% body fat to be competitive. So basically preparing your body, taking it from your off-season body fat, which me currently I'm at like 11%, and that's dieting down, losing about 15 to 12 or 20 pounds to get my body fat around 3%, so that I can step on stage.
And then how long does that process normally take?
For me, I take usually about 15 weeks, 15 to 16 usually my sweet spot. But it can take people anywhere from 10 weeks to 30 weeks, depends on how they hold their body fat and how they do their thing. For me, I like to do a kind of a moderate prep where it's not too quick, but also not too slow. So I found 15 weeks to be kind of my sweet spot.
Now, people who normally compete like year over year, is that like 9 to 13% body fat range, kind of like the the normal standing body fat percentage, or is it just kind of where you sit? Or
No, I would say that's about average for most competitors. Or at least it should be. If you go over 13, I would say if you go over 14% body fat in the off season, you're probably doing something wrong. Um, but
yeah,
there's a lot of people who do that, but to each its own. But realistically, from a coach's standpoint, I don't believe you should ever go above that range.
now how about staying too lean for too long? Does that have
Yeah,
its own consequences too?
yes, absolutely. There's a lot of consequences staying too lean too long. A lot of people you'll see prep for a year straight, which is just destroys your metabolism, and also you can lose a lot of muscle mass during that time too. So when your body's at a subminimal body fat, your body recognizes yourself as you're starving, and muscle is not an advantageous thing when it comes to an evolutionary standpoint. So if you're in a starved state of, I guess your body's in a starving state, if you're not careful, you can start to lose muscle mass pretty quickly.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when people start deciding whether or not they want to do a show, what is like the first thing? Like, say your average dad bod, 20 to 25% body fat. It's like, okay, I'm tired of being chunky. I want to look like these guys on stage. What's the progression of logic that they should use? Because obviously they shouldn't try to drop down to 4% body fat immediately. There's muscle that they have to build on, and they have to get that the maturity in there and stuff. Like, how do you decide from I have the muscle maturity, okay, it's time to cut down, to like, what's that thought process look like?
That really varies for everyone, depending on their body fat, their muscle mass, how long they've been lifting, their age, etc. But to kind of generalize it, typically the best thing to do. So say you've been lifting for 4 years, and you got like the typical dad bod. You don't have a whole lot of muscle, but you have a decent amount. The best thing to do is to start getting some logic, or I guess some data behind what you're doing. So start tracking your food, start tracking your workouts, figure out exactly what you're doing, how much you're doing on both ends of nutrition and working out. And then from there, depending on the people, I would I would say to be general, I would probably start them with a leaner type bulk. So I would try to add muscle mass while kind of losing a little bit of body fat. But we would probably, before you step on stage, we would go through probably 3 bulk phases and 3 cut phases, anywhere between 6 to 10 weeks each phase, before we even looked at doing a show.
So that's what, 2-year commitment almost?
Typically about a 2-year commitment. That's ideal. I mean, you can do it in a year, but you probably won't do well in the show. But you can do it realistically. So, and for me, I don't take on competitors that don't do well. I'm very particular about my people who I take on when it comes to competition. So I tell people, like, hey, I give them up front, hey, this is what you want to do. Great. Here's the time frame we're looking at. Are you okay with that? And if the answer is yes, great. If not, then I don't think I'm the coach for you, and maybe you should go elsewhere. So
do you only focus on competition training, or do you work with everybody?
To be honest with you, I hate competition prep. When I first started, I did focus on competition prep, but I really like working with just general public. My main focus is males who want to build muscle. That's kind of my focal point. But I also work with a lot of older males or females who want to lose body fat and just kind of tone their body up. For me, I find that more rewarding than competitors. I just like the general public. They're a little less dogmatic, and they have a little bit more realistic goals than what competitors do. And competitors are needy as shit. So.
Do you remember you being that person in the beginning?
Oh, absolutely, man. I've taken my coach to dinner so many times and apologized. Like, look, I'm sorry.
How many peas am I supposed to eat tonight?
Literally.
Is it 12 or is it 13?
that's a little conversation. Like, I have that conversation with someone at least once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's low hanging fruit for somebody who wants to start at least heading in the right direction as far as things to avoid, things to incorporate, low barrier to entry?
I would say tracking your food is probably the number one tool that will help anyone, no matter what their goals are. Because a lot of people will say, "Oh, I eat good, I eat healthy." They'll generalize it, but they don't know actually what they eat. So if you don't have definitive data behind uh, what you're doing. I like to refer it to your budget. Oh yeah, I have a lot of money. Well, how much do you have? A lot. Well, can you do this? I don't know. I got to check, but I don't know how much money I have. You know what I mean? You can't do much with that if you don't know how much. You can't spend money if you don't have no idea how much you have. So same thing with nutrition. How can you justify what you need to do to get to your goals if you have no idea where you're at calorically? So tracking your food is probably one of the best tools because it not only gives you data, but it also helps you be more mindful and also create better habits with nutrition. So I would say that's probably the number one low-hanging fruit where everyone, if you want to get in better shape, if you want to eat better, feel better, whatever it is, tracking your food is like the number one.
Now, is there any tools or anything you recommend for food tracking?
I got something yeah, there's a lot. My favorite one and the one I use the most is MyFitnessPal. It's a free app on the Apple Store and Android, and you download it. There's a premium version that really is a waste of money, but yeah, the free version is awesome. You can scan barcodes of food. I mean, you can even look up Chipotle, and you can add in every individual ingredients from Chipotle, Chick-fil-A. I mean, it's a really good tool to use.
I take it those are your good go-to fast food spots then?
Yeah.
Those are the ones you mentioned?
Chick-fil-A and Chipotle are probably they take a lot of my money on a weekly basis.
Now, is there any myths or commonly heard things that you hear in the fitness community that you just hear and like, I don't know why everyone's talking about this? Whether it's a workout to do, a workout to avoid, a food that's supposed to be healthy, but it's a crock of shit.
There's so freaking many of those. Keto, to start, keto is a crock of shit. That one.
I plead the fifth.
Oh, it's been a huge fad right now to drive me fucking nuts.
Especially since almost nobody actually gets in ketosis because you have to use ketone strips to measure it, and it's almost impossible to stay in without esters and hormones. And if you actually stay in it too long, you get ketoacidosis and then croak out.
Exactly, man. It's just another way to get people to eat a small amount of calories, and they just put keto on it and was like, yeah, ketosis. But yeah, that one, and then
high protein, super low carb, which you've been doing for 7 years.
Yep, and then carbs. Carbs are bad for you. That's another one that I think is a huge crock of shit. A lot of people are like, no carbs, but you actually need carbs. Carbs are glycogen. Glycogen is the main primary function of fuel, so very, very detrimental.
So when it comes to the whole carbs conversation, obviously all carbs are not created equal, correct?
Correct. Yep.
So what is a standard quote-unquote health food that people should actually be avoiding, and then what's something that's either common knowledge that's good common knowledge or something that may not be so common that's actually good knowledge?
Well, there's primarily two types of carbs. There's simple carbs and complex carbs. Both have their own role. Complex carbs a little slower digesting, a little slower release of glycogen. Simple carbs a little faster, typically higher in sugar. So they both play their roles. I wouldn't say one you need to stay away from more than the other. Typically, diet more profound with complex carbs is going to be better than simple carbs. But simple carbs do have their place pre-workout, post-workout. They can be utilized pretty well. What was the second part of the question?
Just like common knowledge that people think in the health and fitness industry that everybody talks, kind of like with the keto diet, but with carb related. Is there stuff that everybody talks about that's actually factual or just more crock of shit?
Man, that one's tough.
Like, I haven't seen bananas get a ton of hate lately.
Yeah, bananas get a ton of hate because they're a simple carb. They're sugar, but they're phenomenal for you. I'd eat a banana every day before my workout. I would say maybe working out fasted. A lot of people think that if you don't have any carbs in you for your workout, that it's better, it's superior. But there's so many studies now that show that the difference between a fasted workout or fasted cardio compared to just non-fasted or fasted workout or cardio, there's almost zero to no difference. So I would say that's probably the biggest one.
So you're just torturing yourself.
Essentially,
you're masochist and
you're just making yourself miserable for no reason.
Now, as far as so how important is cardio then into a weight loss protocol?
Cardio is the absolute last factor I add into my clients' protocol when they're trying to lose weight. That's an hour-long conversation as to why, but you should be able to manipulate.
We could always do that round 2.
You're right. Yes, we will. That's actually a really good conversation to have. But the main points, cardio is the third variable behind nutrition being number 1, weight training being number 2, and then cardio being number 3. I like to implement movement compared to cardio first, as in steps for people throughout a day. If people have like an Apple Watch or some sort of tracking device, I think that's more ideal. I don't typically add in cardio. I would say on an average client, they don't get cardio added in until between week 6 and week 10 of their programs.
Yeah, I was just curious because I feel bad going to the gym and seeing somebody who's always on the same elliptical or treadmill for an hour at a time, and they actually start looking worse over 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
Than when they started. And it's like, something's not adding up.
Yeah, because they're not building muscle. They're just, your body starts to adapt to cardio very, very quickly. That dates back to evolution. So the more cardio you do, so say if you start off a program doing 30 minutes of cardio, and then your weight loss slows down at week 6, well, guess what? You either got to eat a really low amount of calories, or you're doing an hour of cardio a day. An hour of cardio a day is miserable. So you can manipulate everything else down and then taper in cardio. That's usually the ideal. But yeah, the what do they call it? The runner's body or whatever, when they're just skinnier than hell, and they're like, oh, why? I do cardio every day. But do you lift weights? I don't like the weights.
And it's like a super soft skinny too, so it's just weird.
Yeah, doctors are starting to, like before, when elderly clients would come in with, some sort of health issue or whatever, they would say, oh, you need to do more cardio activity. And now a lot of doctors are going towards you need to do more weight training.
Well, and I think that's also due to, and this might be my ignorance taking effect here, but to me, when I hear the term cardio, like a lot of people don't associate it with the cardiovascular system, meaning the heart, not your ability to take in air because you're running.
Right.
And like you stress the heart and your heart starts racing doing a really heavy squat, just like it would doing a dead sprint.
Exactly.
So like you're kind of not actually addressing the problem using a generalized term like cardio.
Yep, that's exactly it. It's got so misconstrued by media and social media and bad practice. It's a shame.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to do around 2, 3, maybe 4-ish.
Yeah, for sure.
To cover all the topics and span it out.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you coming on here on such short notice, man.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate you having me, brother.
Yeah. So, is there any place people can find you online?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Matt Hauer Fitness. You can find me on I'm not really on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook at Matt Hauer Fitness also, and then you can go to my website www.powerfit.com. That's PHOWER fit.com. That's my website if anyone is looking for coaching, training, questions, concerns, anything like that.
Cool. So yeah, guys, definitely check them out. And once I get this all published and hashed together, I'll make sure I put all the links in the descriptions and bio for you.
Sounds good, man.
People can easily find you.
Yeah, appreciate it, brother. Good seeing you.